Hey everybody, it's Brenda with Foxy's Creations, and I'm working on the camera. Oh, I gotta mute. I always forget that. There we go. It's muted. Hi, thank you for coming. I'm gonna see if we can. There we go. I can't zoom in any more than that, I don't think. Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming. Who do we have today? So today is all about napkins, as you can see. And I have several different things to show you guys with the napkins. So, and this is gonna be one of those where we gotta wait on things to dry kind of deals. But I got lots of ideas. So and I moved the glass mat and put paper down just because we're gonna be gluing a lot. So some ideas are, this napkin is right about 12 by 12. I want to turn it into a 12 by 12 sheet of paper. And I'm going to put it on this cardstock to do that. And let me see. Hey, Stacy, thank you for coming. My chat on my phone is not working. You go out and come back to chat. There it is. Hi, Mother. How are you? Thank you for coming. So we're playing with napkins. And I want to turn this one into a 12 by 12 sheet of paper. Now, I do this a little different than most people. We're going to start with glue stick because it allows me to reposition the napkin. That one's empty. Let's try getting the glue stick that's not empty. Ah, this one's good. It allows me to reposition the napkin. And it's easier to put the napkin down. So we're just going to start with the glue stick first. Get the threads off the paper. So how are you doing today, Mother? How are you, Stacy? And I see that I missed that spot completely, which we're going to Mod Podge over this once we get it on here and it dries a little bit. So I am really not worried about missing spots. But we do want to kind of coat the whole thing. I like the napkins with an overall print on them. I'm doing good, y'all. My allergies are better, but today I'm not flipping through magazines with perfume pages in them. So that got to me yesterday, I think. All that perfume in those books. Okay. So let's see. I don't like having clumps. Okay, so now. Hi, Angie. How are you? Thank you for coming. I'm going to take the napkin and place it on here gently. And I can already see that we're going to have some wrinkly problems. So this is why I like the glue stick. Because I can pull this up. As long as you do it gently. Now I can smooth this out as much as possible. You would not be able to do that if you used wet glue because the napkin would have been saturated. Oh, you're fine. We just got started. So this is the first thing I did with napkin. I took a napkin with an overall pattern and I glued it to cream colored cardstock. so that we will have a 12 by 12 sheet of paper that can then be used in a journal. It could be used as a cover. You can use it for die cutting. Doilies come out really pretty when they're cut on here. And we are, now if you're going to use it to do die cuts, don't do anything else to it. You can leave it just like this and it'll die cut just fine. And you won't be able to tell that it's a napkin on here because it feels like part of the paper. So we're going to set this one aside, let it dry. Then the next thing I want to show you is going to take a minute to dry. I did prepare one in advance. Glue and plastic don't stick, which is why we're using plastic. I have a whole box of these that we got from Office Depot years and years ago, and I'm finding all kind of uses for these things. So what I'm going to do, I still haven't put my Mod Podge in anything other than my Dawn bottle, so don't laugh. I'm going to put a healthy dose of Dawn of Mod Podge on here. And let me get a brush. And this is going to bubble and bead and separate. You just kind of have to keep working with it to get it to stop doing that. Because we want to put napkin on here. And I got way too much Mod Podge for what I want to do. Or not, because it takes a minute to get it to not want to do the beading up on the plastic separation thing. And you got to have a good bit to do that. But it is way more than what I need. It'll just take it longer to dry. So you just keep working with it. Eventually, you will get it to where it's not doing this separation thing that it does. Because it just wants to bead up. I think we've seen this. You've probably seen it done on wax paper. This is better. It's going to give it a shiny backing. I cut out this piece of napkin. And I'm going to lay it right on here. Well, there we go. And I'm going to gently, because you can tear your napkins easily on this one. And I'm just going to pick up some of the glue from the side. And I'm going to just gently press this down into this glue to coat it. And we have a problem up here. This may tear, and I don't want it to tear. So I'm trying to be real. Okay, we're just going to let that be wrinkled. We have a wrinkle, but with this, it's just going to be what it is. I'm just trying to make sure I've got it pushed down into the glue below. And I have one prepared because, like I said, this is going to take a minute. So I'm going to wipe off this excess glue. I mean, it's going to just peel off anyway, but I don't need it to be part of my napkin. And we did get a hole up here, but I'm not going to worry about the hole. Oh, you almost, which one? The pretty purple one? Angie, bless your heart. I got that in a Happy Mail. And they are gorgeous. This also I got in a Happy Mail. And I just cut some pieces off. I am now going to set this aside to dry. And the other one that I made earlier is still drying. So hopefully We can get to it in a minute. Because here's the thing. Once this dries, you are going to flip it over and coat, and it's going to just peel right off. And then you're just going to flip it down, coat the other side, let it dry again. That one that's setting aside is currently, oh, this one? Oh, I know, and these are gorgeous. So the one that's setting aside, I've already flipped over. It's now, second side is drying. I meant to do all this last night, and I forgot, so I got up extra early this morning. Now what I want to do is I want to put this one on this piece of coffee dyed paper. Because, can you see that in a journal? Fold this paper in half. You've got a perfect sheet of paper to go in a journal. That napkin is gorgeous, Angie. Were they at Tuesday morning? I appreciate that. They came in a Happy Mail from Brenda Price. And I really appreciate that she sent me those. Tuesday morning. Last time I was at Tuesday morning, I forgot to look at napkins. And we don't go that often. It's a 30-minute trip. So we don't go a lot. To my glue stick. So we're going to get another one out of the drawer, which is about empty, so I'm not even going to use that one. We'll use this one. And we're just going to glue this down. I am going to leave a little border at the top and the bottom. However, I want to trim this little edge off down here. I'm going to trim it right here at this, if I can, on this yellow line. Get this extra little piece of napkin off. And there we go. Okay, so now we're just going to glue it on here. So I'm going to cover my coffee dyed, and I'm going to look. Okay, I don't want to cut. I definitely don't want to cover that side of my coffee dyed paper. We're going to cover this side because the other side's prettier. And again, I'm just going to cover the whole piece of paper with the glue. Oops. And then I will have this really pretty piece of paper that I can put into a journal. I can make it into a cover. Okay. I want to lift it because it's going to get wrinkles again. And let's see if I can lift this one where I put wrinkles in it without ripping the napkin. Just going to try to pull it back a little bitty bit. It's got a little tiny hole in it, but I am not going to worry about that. Make sure I'm on camera. And there we go. Okay. And Angie, after today, I'm going to make you a mod. You're in here all the time. And Stacy, you too. Because that way y'all can talk and not be timed out. Because It's horrible when you get timed out. But right now I don't have any mods in here. And I can't get to it on the computer. Well, oh, I don't want to close this window. Yeah, I can't get to it on the computer to do it right now, but I will do it after. I'll make y'all mods. Just in case we get trolls or something. But I am watching right now because I can do what I need to do if something happens. But I haven't really had a problem with trolls. Cross my fingers, knock on wood. So this one needs to get set aside to dry. As well. Okay. Next. We're just moving right along. This napkin also came in Happy Mail. And it is gorgeous. Now with this one, I have these bigger pieces of coffee dyed paper left. And I was thinking this would make a pretty pocket. And if we wanted a really pretty belly band, these birds over here would make an awesome, and I want some of the flowers too, would make an awesome belly band on a page. So this is the part of the napkin that we're going to use. So I'm going to cut this rectangle off. And I'm going to cut the bottom of this off. And then we're just going to fold our napkin back up. Right, so you could get timed out because you're the only one writing in chat, Angie, and I wouldn't want that to happen. But right now, I can't get to it on the computer screen to change it. Let me see. I'm hoping I don't create where we get knocked offline. I can probably, oh wait, I can open a new tab. And go to YouTube. It's going to take just a moment. Okay. Whoa. Okay, at least I got that muted. Okay, Angie, type something in now. Let's make sure you're blue. I think I got it. Okay, and Stacy, I got you too. And Mother, not that I don't love you or nothing, but you work more than you talk. So I'm gonna leave you the way you are. If you're still here, she may not be even here no more. But Stacy, you should now be a moderator as well if you're still here. I have 6 showing in chat, so, and I'm gonna see if I can pop chat out on here. There we go. Okay. So now, Angie, you won't get timed out in chat. And we're all good. So with these, I got to peel them. So your napkins are going to come in 2 or 3 layers. These are 3 layers. And I do the Elizabeth Brewer technique of put your lips on it, and it'll pop the layers apart. Most of the time. And if that doesn't work, I'm going to take a piece of washi tape. Because washi's not that sticky. And then you just put your tape, and when you pull it, like, see, I know I pulled, and I'm going to save that because we're going to need it again probably. So now I'm just going to find where that, there we go. And now I can separate that last layer of napkin. Okay. And I might as well get this one ready. Yeah, Angie, you're the only one writing, but there's 6 in here. So, hey, everybody. And I don't mind silent observers. That's fine. I am a silent observer a lot of times on other channels. And it's still not going to separate. So, back to the washi. Oh, boo. And it pulled it, but it didn't get me an edge. That I can deal with. There we go. I may be left with this side with no edge again. Nope, I got it. Oh my word. I have never had a napkin peel this way. There we go. Oh, you're fine, Angie. Okay. So, let's see. We'll put it on this side. See, isn't that pretty for a pocket? Or even if we do 2 pockets, like 2 little tuck spots, that's gorgeous. So back to our glue sticks. I have realized one thing. As a paper crafter, I go through a lot of glue, whether it be glue sticks, homemade Mod Podge, Elmer's glue, tacky glue. We use a lot of glue. And there we go. Put that to dry so we can seal it. And now for our belly band paper. I am thinking, so we get some flowers going like this. So let's just put some glue. Hi, Jenny. How are you? Thank you for coming. And are you working on anything, Jenny? I have so many projects going right now. I have decided that next month I'm not going to do as much outside. You know, like the Artsology Design Team project is one thing. I'm committed to that for 6 months. But I don't, Melody Made is a sign up month to month, and so is Tsunami Rose. So I think I'm going to sit both of them out for a month so I can catch up on some personal things that I want to do. Okay. Now we're going to set this one aside to dry. Okay. I also want to put this napkin, which is another overall pattern, onto a 12 by 12 piece of cardstock, which is going to leave me this piece and this piece. It's going to leave the border edges, which is fine because I can then put them on coffee dyed paper or something and turn them into washi tape by backing them with double-sided tape. So I'm okay with trimming those borders off. And I had a gray piece of cardstock. Okay, so this is going to be done just like we did the one on yellow cardstock or the cream colored. We're going to put glue over the entire thing. And then we're going to glue this down. And I think it's all the way separated. But I want to make sure because it feels like it might not be. Oh, let me take tape over here on the edge. Okay, we ripped it, which is okay. So it is all the way separated. So we're going to do glue stick on our cardstock, and then we're going to apply the napkin. Oh, bless your heart. I know I watch Michael I think you pronounce his last name Cairns, and he gets infusions for Crohn's. So bless your heart, Jenny. And I'm just going to make sure I have it covered good because we're going to seal it. We are going to seal it down, so. And y'all have seen me make glue paper before on here, I think. Back a while back, I did a whole glue paper tutorial, napkin paper tutorial, I think. Or craft along with me. And I'm trying to figure out what the difference with a tutorial and a craft along with me is. Maybe craft along with me is we don't know what we're doing. We're going to just do stuff. And a tutorial is I kind of know what I'm doing, so I'm going to teach you stuff. I don't know. If y'all know, let me know. I am going to go over the top of the napkin in this case with, now would I go over mine because I want it sealed. If you're going to do it as a die cut, don't seal it. They come out just fine without a sealer if you're going to die cut them. And I need to make sure that I can pull this back because I don't want wrinkles and it's going to wrinkle. Let me pull this back this way. There we go. This is just a soft makeup brush that I am brushing this down with. Because it's not going to damage the napkin in any way. And my thumb stuck to the napkin. Because it had glue on it. Let's see, what can I weight that down with? We'll use the alcohol bottle. I ripped it, so I'm going to be very careful and lay it right back down. Where I ripped it up here, it's not going to matter because it's off the page. And this is just a makeup brush from the Dollar Tree. Very soft and flexible. It's completely dry. I guess it's, well, what does it say it is on here? It doesn't say what kind it is. I think it's just like a blush brush or something. Okay. So now I'm going to let it dry, but then I am going to trim my edges. It would. Jenny, yes, a belly band would work on a tag. So, and this is wide enough that it could actually be a tag. It's just on coffee dyed paper. So if I wanted to make it a tag, I would want to put it on card. But that would be an awesome tag too. So now this one needs to dry, and then we're going to trim it. That is gorgeous. This reminds me of like Blue Willow tableware. What is a belly band? Okay. In this journal, let me find it. Okay, on this page, this going across, that's a belly band. It's connected at two sides. Now, you can also have verticals, which is what I would make this into a vertical belly band and slide something under it. This one is going across the page, and I have a book going in it. But that's a belly band. But in the case of these birds, let me go on and trim this so you can get a better idea. I didn't cut through it, or it restuck itself. One of the two happened. Okay, so let me get out the journal that we're making during this series. Hi, Kelly and Robin. How are you? And let's... Hi, Misty. How are you? This one, Kelly and Robin? The walkthrough for this is going up tomorrow. I just recorded it. I love that. That paper was awesome to work with. Okay, so the one that we're making in the series, which this is not dry yet, but if we were going to put it in here as a belly band, let me find a blank sheet of paper. Let's say we wanted to put it here. It would go like this, top to bottom, and we could flap it. That's why I didn't mind leaving these little pieces, because you can bend them over and make it into a flap so you can get something thicker under it. Thank you so much, Kelly. I loved working with that paper. That was so much fun, and I made so many different things. I'm doing good, thank you. So this is a belly band. This one is definitely not straight yet because it was a cut-off piece. You could even use, instead of using this as a tuck spot, you could use it as a belly band going across the page. Cut it in half and have two belly bands, or cut it in half this way. Well, then you'd have a bird, but that might not be a good idea. But if you wanted to use this as a pocket and then cut this across, that would make two belly bands, thinner ones that could go across the page. Whereas this one would be going up and down the page. You could also put it on the page as a side pocket and tuck stuff in it this way. So this could be a belly band. It could be a side pocket. It could be a little mini flip out. That kind of thing. So these just both need to dry now. Oh, cool, Kelly and Robin. Now, Kelly and Robin, when y'all show up, you're Kelly, right? And then Robin signs in under Robin. I can't remember. Okay, so while we're still waiting on some things to dry, another ideas I had, doilies. We all have doilies. And I got this really pretty napkin in Happy Mail from Brenda. And I was thinking, if we cut this part off, and I'm just going to fold this back up, set it aside. Okay, so you're Kelly. Okay, good. And now I'm going to peel the napkin again. I almost had both top layers, or both. There we go. Both bottom layers at one time. That's cool. So we're just going to peel it, peel it, peel it. And I kind of want to put it here. So I'm just going to look and eyeball it. Where and what do I want to use? And I can't probably get all of that on there. I can get most. So let me rip. And let me check where I'm tearing. This is going to give us fuzzy edges, no hard lines. Okay. That was pretty good. Let's see. I'm going to need to tear off a little bit more over here. A little bit more down here at the bottom. A little teeny tiny bit off to that side. This little pointy part needs to go that I just created. And just a tiny bit over there. Okay. Now I like that, but this is cream and this is not. So I want to fix that. Oh, thank you, Angie. I don't know where Brenda found these. This may be another Tuesday morning. I got all these that I'm using in Happy Meal. Well, the ones I've used so far. So what I want to do, I'm going to get the glass plate back for just a moment. Okay. And this worked out really cool the other day, you guys. I'm going to stamp it. We're going to antique the doily instantly with water and our stamp, our ink. Because this ink is water-based ink. So I want to just make that run around a little bit and kind of dilute itself. Okay, so now I'm going to take the doily. Oh, that's kind of dark. It's okay. It'll be okay. We are antiquing this coffee dye, whatever you want to call it, instantly. And I'm getting ink everywhere again. I think I like being inked, is what I think. Because, yeah. If I'm not gluey and inky, something must be wrong. And I'm going to work on lightening this up in just a second. Hey, Patricia, how are you? Thank you for coming. I want some on that edge right there. Okay, so set that aside for a second. Spray some alcohol on here. And we're going to get rid of the glass mat. Well, not yet. Because I want to turn this over and spray it with a little bit of water again. And try to get some of the color to thin out. Like that. We're going to heat gun this in a minute. So, Kelly, are you just on a long vacation where you said you wouldn't be home till the middle of July? Which sounds like fun, by the way. Oh, now I like that. That's very pretty. And that rose is going to be awesome on here. I want to see if I can get some color on that edge. We'll just tap them together. Nope, no doing. That's okay. Let's see if we can blot some off again. Okay, we're going to heat gun that and dry it. So I'm going to move this out of the way. We're going to use it again later for another thing that we're going to do with napkins. Oh, and my heat gun never gets stuck like that. Okay. And let's click this. I have my papers are falling. This will take just a moment. Oh, I don't know which side I want to use now. Okay, so now I don't know which side I want to use. We have this side, which is more solid, or I think I like this side better. I do. So now when we put our little roses on there, it's not stark white against cream. Hold a napkin. A lot better than it's going to hold paper. Okay. So I'm just going to place this down on here. And just smooth it out. Where's that brush? I do like the makeup brush technique. That tape. And there we go. Isn't that pretty, you guys? Now, imagine that in a journal. Thank you, Patricia. Okay, perfectly imperfect crest. That's not Misty, is it? I don't know. I know I've seen you, though. So I'm just trying to remember who you are. Kat. Thank you, Kat. I appreciate that. And welcome. So I think we're just going to leave. Once this dries, it's going to be fine. I don't want to seal this with this particular thing with anything. I think that's gorgeous, though. I love that napkin. And with the torn edges, it just blends right in to the doily. And now it looks like part of the doily. So I really like that. So we're just going to set this aside to dry. Okay. What else was I going to do while things dry? We were going to play with some inks on the, we'll just leave this here. Last minute, I need to go and get one piece of cardstock. White this time. Now, I make my covers for my books a lot of times from cardstock. So, we're going to do a background. Oh, yeah, you can decorate doilies up. You could cut one of these little birdies out and stick in the middle of the doily. All kind of things with napkins. So I'm just going to stamp some blue on here. And these are water-based. Get some of the modal on. Some of this brick color. We're going to use all four of these colors. I am reading what Kelly is writing. Oh, wow, Kelly. That is a lot. Why is this not wanting to take? There we go. Now we're going to put down some of this brick color. And last but not least is purple. However, it's not called purple. It is purple, though. I love how Tim Holtz comes up with names. This is called Seedless Preserves. Isn't that pretty? Now we're going to spray it with water. I am going to add a little coffee spray. Now I'm going to move it so I can lay my cardstock in it. Kind of like playing with alcohol inks, but not. Okay. So I'm going to just lay this on here, mash it. And then, and I'm not worried about how the back looks because if this is a cover, it won't matter. And I think I'm just going to leave it alone. Or maybe not. I don't want to make mud, though. Oh, that's pretty. Okay. I'm going to set that aside and clean this off. Again. Where'd my paper towels go? And we're going to dry that with the heat gun so that we can do the napkin step on it. Oh, sorry, guys. That's like nails on a chalkboard, isn't it? So I'm going to heat gun this real fast because I want to do, Patricia, I saw you do this the other day. Oh, wow, Kelly. That's a lot to do in the next couple of weeks or week and a half. Thank you, Kelly. So, Patricia, what I saw you do the other day is the next step I'm going to do to this when this is dry. Hey, Maddie, how are you? And Madison, thank you for coming. So, let's get the heat gun and dry this, and then we're going to do the second technique for making the cover. Or you could turn it into iCAD cards, ATC cards. It doesn't have to be a cover. And we are almost dry, or we're almost dry enough to do what I want to do. Oh, we're all curling up. No. Uncurl it. Okay. So the next step. Patricia probably knows what I'm going to do because she did napkins for her iCads the other night. She did what she called the napkin technique. And that's exactly what we're going to do on top of this. So I'm going to start with my Mod Podge from my great big Dawn bottle because I haven't put it in anything smaller yet. And I got to get a brush. And I'm going to spread this all out. So I saved the backs from my napkins. And they're over here wadded up in a ball. So my goal here is just to coat this paper with the Mod Podge. And then we're going to start going back to where we started while this one dries, because some of the other stuff should be dry. Some of our other napkins that we did earlier. Okay, so I have this wrinkled up napkin. I'm just going to lay that down. And it was all balled up, and I'm just kind of unfluffing it so I don't want to flatten it and make it straight. I just want to press it on here. And that's got too much of a wrinkle right there. Let's see if we can make that not quite that wrinkledy. There we go. Just trying to make sure I press out any like air bubbles, air pockets. Then it is fun, isn't it, Patricia? I'm going to put another layer of Mod Podge, a thin layer. But I don't want to flatten out the napkin. We want that texture. So the goal here isn't to flatten out the napkin. It's just to keep our texture and make sure it's adhered. And I may not have got enough glue on here. Oops. Which, thank goodness, that was just from the edge and it didn't take out our paper. Yeah, I don't have enough glue. That corner did not stick. We'll stick it now. There we go. And you'll be able to tell where it's stuck down and it hasn't by the color of the napkin. Like, I know it's not stuck down up here either, so I'm just going to pounce on it. Probably not a good word, pounce, but that's what I'm doing. I need a little bit more here. And I know I need a little bit here. And some in this little area. So just areas I know I didn't get coated good. Like I said, the object is just to make sure it's down and adhered and no air pockets under it. Because once it's dry, we have another step. And I kind of like this. You don't have to worry about if you tear your napkin, because it just adds more texture if you tear your napkin. It is not stuck. It's stuck to me. I'm just going to leave it a go. Okay, so that's wanting to tear off. Let's just pull it. We can trim it better later. There we go. Dawn is the new glue. Right. Dawn is the new glue. I mix up my Mod Podge in that gigantic Dawn bottle because I use a lot of Mod Podge. So I use the homemade Mod Podge. I'm going to try to tear some of this off of here. That's going pretty good. Oops. And you know what I'm going to do? Pat it with my finger. Stick a little bit of Mod Podge on there. Texture's good in this case. And I'm just going to pat that on there with my finger. Create wrinkles and texture. There we go. Now, Patricia turned hers into iCads when she made it. She made iCad cards, and they were gorgeous. Okay, and I lifted some napkin from that edge, so again, a little bit of Mod Podge. Because I don't want a bare naked edge. Find me a little wrinkly piece. If I have to, I'll wrinkle it back up again. And straighten it out a little bit. And we can patch. Well, that wasn't a very good patch job. No, now I got like a big blob. Where's the brush when you need it? Back in the water bowl. One moment. There. That will work much better than my finger. Now, this napkin is one of the background napkins, I think from one of the florals. And it has got blue speckles on it. I don't know if the camera's picking up the blue speckles. Right, just water and glue. I use Elmer's glue and I water it down with water. I use about a 60% glue, 40% water mix. Okay, so this, I need to quit fiddling with it before I mess it up more. I'm going to set aside to dry, but I'm running out of places to set things to dry. So I think I can put it there. How are we with this? This is almost ready to pull up. That's the one I made early this morning. Okay, so let me clean up some of this. And we're going to go to some of the first pieces that we did because we need to seal them. And the doily is a done. We're not going to do anything more to the doily. So the first thing we did was we glued this napkin to a 12 by 12 piece of cardstock. I am now going to trim it before we seal it. I'm going to say that, but it doesn't seem to want to be cutting. And then what I seal with, you guys, you can seal with Mod Podge. I use polyacrylic. It is a water-based sealer. And that's what I'm going to use today. Polyacrylic to seal this on here. Now, like I said, if you want to do die cuts, there is no need to seal it. For die cuts, the napkin won't lift. Oh, and that would make some awesome, like, doily die cuts and things. Thank you, Kat. And to be honest, I had to scroll up to get to your name. That's what took a minute. Right, so I used, and my polyacrylic is not in a polyacrylic bottle. My husband bought me this huge can, and I put it in this. It was a bottle, jar. Okay. So this is what we're going to be sealing everything with that we've made, that we seal. And I just brush it on lightly because you can still tear your napkin. I usually put 2 coats. The first coat, I am really gentle on my paper. The second coat is important because you have this first coat. Now do it thinly. It won't take it long to dry. And that wasn't adhered good right there. I need to get a bigger brush out. And with the pattern on the napkin, I am really not worried about brush strokes because they're going to kind of blend in. And this will make this very durable. And once the varnish cures, even if it gets wet, it's not going to do anything because it's varnish. So after, like, I think it says it takes 72 hours to cure fully. I mean, it's dry in no time. but I think it takes 72 hours to cure fully. And once it's fully cured, it's a varnish. So it's not going to, getting it wet again is not going to affect it. So if you have a really big napkin with an all over pattern, you can make your own 12 by 12 paper. Or as you saw, we have the one coming up where we put part of the napkin on a coffee dyed 8.5 by 11 to make one journal page. This napkin, my glue stick is not staying down. That's okay though, this will get it. This will make sure it's adhered very well to the paper and seal it at the same time. Now I hold it up to the light and see if I've missed spots, which I've missed this whole corner. Then I'm going to check on chat in just a moment. This has a very low odor. I'll tell you honestly, tacky glue has a stronger smell than the polyacrylic, which I find really odd, but the tacky glue does have a stronger odor than the polyacrylic does. So now I'm just looking to see what looks like it's been covered and if I missed anything. And it feels like I missed this edge over here. It just doesn't feel like it's got any polyacrylic on it. And where I touched it down here with my thumb, pulled up a piece of napkin. Which what I'm going to do is get one of the cutoff pieces and look for a piece of the dark blue color. And just kind of piece it right there. There we go. And now that's fixed and you'll never know. So now this has to dry again. Okay. We then did the coffee dyed paper. Oh, it was the right way. So we glued napkin onto coffee dyed paper to make a book page for a journal. Oh, you've never used... See, I had the polyacrylic because I used to do polymer clay. And you have to have a water-based varnish if you're doing polymer clay. Because oil-based varnishes don't work well with... them and polymer don't get along. The polymer clay will dissolve over time. So I already had the water-based polyacrylic because of what I used to do with polymer clay. And it works out so great with paper crafts. Just make sure you get the water-based one. You can do the oil-based on paper crafts, but the water-based is just fine. So I'm just going to do the same thing. Make sure I have it all adhered down well. Thin coat. I love this napkin. And then we have coffee dyed paper on the other side because we put it on coffee dyed paper. This will make a beautiful page in a journal. You could also make it into a card. Tags. Several different things. I wouldn't make tags out of it since it's on coffee dyed paper, but if you put it on cardstock, it would make really pretty tags. And I think we are well coated at this point. That's what I'm checking. This is easier. I can see the color change in the napkin. I missed a spot right here. Now let me just hold it up to the light and look at it. It's all covered. And we're going to swap it out because it needs to set aside to dry. Then we did this one. Let me put brush down. 12 by 12 again, sheet of cardstock. And I already have a journal that this would be perfect in. And I'm missing a lot in chat. You can emboss on it, Angie. You definitely could. Run it through an embossing folder and emboss it. Ooh, and that's an awesome idea. Okay, great, Jenny. Oh, I know. I have migraines too, and Kat, and they are no fun at all. And I understand about being odor sensitive. So yeah, if you can handle the smell of tacky glue, you'll be fine because tacky glue is way stronger than this. Elmer's glue's even got a stronger odor, to me. And my napkin's not sticking, but that's okay. We're going to get it with the varnish. And I had that on here like way crooked. Way crooked. So I will trim that. I can just trim this edge down. Okay, so let's just varnish it up. And the varnish also makes the colors more vibrant. Okay, Misty, good. That's the other thing I've noticed. When you apply the varnish on here, it just makes everything much more vibrant. And as y'all can see, I'm not applying this in any certain kind of way. I'm going to turn my paper around. Get that corner down. And that edge I will have to trim off. But it's 12 by 12, so we're going to have a little bit of paper that we could use as pockets or something anyway. And an 8.5 by 11 journal, you know, when you fold your paper in half. So cutting that edge off and making that straight is not going to be a problem. Making sure my edges are adhered down very well. Okay. Now I just hold it to the light. I missed all of this right here, looks like. That's looking good. So I'm going to set it somewhere separate to dry because I don't want my stuff to stick together. Okay. Now for these, because we're going to use these as belly bands and pockets, we definitely want to seal these as well. And they're also on coffee dye. And this just wants to keep moving around. I think this is going to make some awesome, like, pockets in a journal. The birds, Fussy cutting the birds out and applying them on pockets, or, you know, to already, like, tag, just plain tags and that kind of thing. They would make awesome embellishments. So there's that one, which we're going to put to dry over here again. Hi, Deborah. Thank you for coming. Okay, Kat. You can emboss it, Angie. You could definitely run this through your embossing machine, you know, in an embossing folder, and it will emboss. And I think that would be awesome looking. You can use it just like you would use any other paper. I'm only sealing it because it is napkin, and napkins are fragile. And this just helps kind of make it part of the paper. The only time I don't seal it is if I'm going to make doilies, or I'm going to, like, cut it on my die cutting machine. Because usually the, Lori, brain work, the stick glue will hold that on there just fine. And I've got doilies that I was sent, and die cuts that I was sent by Tanya from New Zealand, where she did that. She adhered the napkin to paper or cardstock with a glue stick, and then she die cut it, and they have never lifted. You don't have an embossing machine, Patricia? You could take an embossing folder and a rolling pin. If you have a pasta machine, like I have one for polymer clay, on the widest setting, you can use most thinner embossing folders will go through a pasta machine on the widest setting. Hi, Louise. Thank you for coming. So you could do that. You could also do like the toilet paper technique and put it in and wet it and kind of pounce on it to get it to go down in there. But you could, the rolling pin technique, I've seen a lot of people do that, and it does work. Just put it in there and roll over it real firmly. So there's a lot of different things if you don't have an embossing machine. Okay. I think we're ready to see what happened with our one that we put on the plastic. Now, the one that we did is not dry yet. Well, no, it is not dry. It's still very wet. We're going to leave it alone. The one I did before coming on is pretty much dry. I want to hit it with the heat gun for just a second. Let me move my stuff back in its little hole. I want to hit this with the heat gun just to make sure. I don't want to melt my plastic, but I want to make sure this is dry. Now, this was put down, pulled up, flipped over, and glued again. So I just want to make sure we get it good and dry. Bye, Maddie. Thank you for coming. I hope you have a great day. Hugs to you too. Okay, now my border pieces were only done once, so I want to show you the technique for what to do with those. See, this just pulls right off the plastic, you guys. And it's nice and shiny, and I'm going to trim that off. So you have a rougher back, shiny back, but you see it's really see-through. So we're going to use that to our advantage in just a moment. But let me show you what you do. So like we got the first coat on the one over there. These have only been done the one time. They are completely dry. I'm going to pull these up. This one tore. So I'm just going to break it. Okay, so now what we're going to do with Mod Podge. We got to do a second coat. And they got to stick. So I'm just going to put a little bit of Mod Podge there. We'll just go down the side. And again, this is going to be that where you have to kind of work with it to get it to where it's not got the beating up properties and all that. So we're just going to go back and forth. Now this is clear, but it's only coated on one side. Only this side's got glue on it. So we want to put it down in the glue. And you see how the glue separates on here? So I am now going to just push this down on the glue. And I'm going to glue back on this side. Just to make sure that that side's adhered. Oops, and I just ripped the napkin more. Or ripped it new. And it will. It will rip again. Okay, so we're going to put this side, paper side down, plasticky side up. And press it down into the glue. Oh, let go of me. And we still have that one, so I'm going to put a little bit more Mod Podge out. Hi, Robin. How are you? Thank you for coming. And I'm going to go back over this just because I don't think it got enough. And before that has time to separate, let me slap that on there. And you want shiny side up. Mod Podge over top. And let it dry a second time. And then it's done. Once it dries the second time, it's done and will look like that one. So once it's dry the second time, this is like plastic, you guys. I don't know if you can hear it. It's like plastic at this point. There is paper, it's sandwiched in between. But what I wanted to do, I played with my die cutting machine the other day. And I made these really pretty frames. And this is blue. So I was thinking we'll go with the blue one first. Taking this piece of acetate, putting it under here, and putting this, figuring out what to frame. And we don't even need to do that. You could just frame this itself. And see how pretty that is? It's just, what do we want to frame? I kind of want both of the birds and some of the nest and the words. Like that, maybe. Maybe move it up a little bit. And then, so that this is not showing, I was going to put this one on the back. This way you could put this in a journal as just a flipping page. It would just flip and that kind of thing. And it's completely clear. So if this was behind it, see, you're going to see that pattern behind there. So if you had a pattern, we'll go with this. If this is behind here, you'll have that. If it's a white page behind it, we'll flip this over. That's what you're going to have. but it's a completely clear page. What do you guys think? Or book paper, right, Patricia? Or music paper. So we could use the acetate window and put the acetate window under it. On one, at least on one side, it would have the acetate window. And the other side, how do we want to go? So I think we got to put this down first. And the problem is glue does not stick to acetate. It also does not stick to plastic. As we see, it peeled right off. So I would have to re-double-sided tape this. Let's just pass that part up. We'll just skip that part and go this way. And we're going to need to trim. And I have the middles that came from here. Let me find a middle. Let me find a middle. Because that's how I cut the acetate out. I used the middle piece. There it is. Figure out what we want. And then we're going to cut a little bit bigger than this. I think, I want some of these words. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to cut across the top up here. Turn it around carefully. Cut down the side over here. And then cut across the bottom. Thusly. Now that's bigger than our window, but hopefully, yes, it will be able to be covered completely by the other side. So, Elmer's glue, where are you? It does not, Angie. Any kind of plastic. Glue and plastic aren't going to stick together. You can just peel it right off. That's why I know if I use the acetate, I have to put double-sided tape on here, or it just won't glue. Glue will not hold it, and glue will not hold this to the acetate. There's got to be double-sided tape involved. Okay. I'm just going to apply glue around the edge here. Yep, that's the blue one. And I'm going to put shiny side down. And that's probably right about where I want it. So I'm going to take my little makeup brush again and just push it down. Okay. Now I'm going to take the glue and go all the way to the outside, because now we're going to glue the back piece on it. So we want to get it I love that frame die. Okay. And I got glue on there. We'll wipe that off in a second. We are going to line this all up. And it should line up perfect. Okay, I'm going to take this, not this paper towel. Let's get a different one. That one's got glue all over it already. And I'm going to wipe the glue off of this edge, the frame. Boy, this is harder than it looks, guys. Foiled paper. Looks like I'm making a bigger mess than I'm cleaning up, doesn't it? Okay. I'm going to try a little alcohol on here. It is foiled paper. Just to clean that up. Oh, there we go. Should have thought of that to begin with, huh? Now I'll dry it off. That worked way better. You're going to have to do some playing today, Angie. And let me get my... Oh, it's not sticking. We may have to clamp this shut. And I'm going to need to wipe the blue side off. But let me press it, because it's not wanting to stick together. And I have white edges showing, and I don't like that either. That's what ink is for. Getting rid of white edges. So I'm just rubbing it with the alcohol enough to get the glue off and then going back and drying it off. Okay, guys, what do you all think? If it would stay together. I have never had this much trouble getting something to stick together. So, but what do you think? Love it. Thank you, Kelly and Louise and Angie. Inka-dinka-doo. So that's really going to be pretty in a journal, on a page, in a pocket as a card, once it's stuck down. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to clamp it. And I had some small clamps, but I don't know where they are. But I have these. And that's going to make it curl up. Oh, I don't want to do those. We're just going to let it go and let it dry. I think that'll work because the ends seem to be stuck. It's the sides that want to lift. And I don't understand that. I'm going to sit here and hold it for a minute. You like it a lot, Jenny? Thank you. Thank you, Patricia. Clothespins. So in the future, I may put double-sided tape down here, glue this on like we did, and put double-sided tape down the edge where the papers are going to be, because the sides are wanting. Well, now they look stuck. And this is going to need to be cleaned off again. I have fingerprinted it all up, but I'm going to let it dry first. Okay, we're just going to set it aside to dry. Okay. Let me put all my clamps back up. These hold my camera cord out of the way. Okay, so the last thing is this, and it's not dry. So we're going to need to heat gun it again. And these are almost dry. They're very flexible. The one thing I like about the polyacrylic, it is very flexible and bendable and doesn't crack or anything. Thank you, Deborah. Let me put my little metal things, metallic pieces over there. Okay, so we're going to heat gun this to get it to dry so I can do the last thing I want to do to it. Okay, Angie, I'm so glad I could inspire you to do something or give you an idea. And Angie, whatever you make, if you belong to the Foxy's Facebook group, it's Foxy's followers, post a picture of it. I would love to see it. It's not quite dry enough to do what I want to do. But it's very pretty. And I just messed up that edge, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. It's not going to matter with what we're going to do. There was a lot of glue right there. Oh, we don't want to bubble it up. Try drying it from the back a little bit. Okay. I think it's dry enough. I'm going to trim off the rough edges. And even where it looks like we may have flattened the napkin out, there is, so I was touching it to make sure there's still texture there, and we're going to bring all that texture out. Now, Angie, I don't know if you can hear me over the heat gun, but if you belong to Foxy's followers, which is listed in the description box below, please post some pictures of what you make. I would love to see it. Okay, so I'm going to work at flattening this back out so it's not curled up because I don't want it curled. And I want to get these extra pieces off of here that just attach themselves to our paper. Okay, so as you can hear, there's a lot of texture, which is what we want. I'm going to need the glass mat back. I don't know, to be honest, how this is going to work. It's an experiment. That's just what you want someone to say, right? It's an experiment. But that's what we're going to do. We're going to experiment. And I might be creating a craft-a-lunch problem on my desk. Okay. Thank you, Patricia. So I'm going to take ink pad, which is crumb cake, so it's a lighter color, and I'm going to put it on here. I'm going to add some water, and I might should have done this a little differently, but we're going to go with it. That brush is too soft. I need a stiffer. That one's better. A stiffer brush. I'm going to pull some of this up on my brush. Okay. I don't want to do it that way. I am not doing it this way. It's too wet. It's too wet. So back to stamp pad. And I'm going to apply it to my brush this way. If I can get it up on the brush. There we go. And I'm going to brush across the tops, which is not working. Okay. That didn't work. Okay, so I know what will work. Don't use your stamp pad. We're going to use, now it's a decision. I'm going to use antique copper metallic paint, but we're going to dry brush it with that brush. So I'm going to put some paint out here. We don't need a lot of paint. And I want to water it down. That I know. Because we don't want it that thick. That's still too thick. Okay, now I'm going to lightly brush over the tops. Of the texture. And my paper's still too curly. And so you see how that just picks up that texture? And we still have the color showing behind. And let me thin this out some more. I don't want to add more paint. There we go. And you can wipe over it. I do need more paint. Unfortunately, I do need more paint. I ran out of color. I'm going to dab some of that off. And because we have the polyacrylic on here, we can wipe on here. If we have too much color. I think it's looking really good. To me, it looks really good. I don't know what you guys think. Okay, thank you for coming. And you have a great rest of your day. And if y'all are new to the channel and not subscribed but like what you see, please hit the subscribe button. Bye, Kat. Thank you for coming. And don't forget to hit the little bell so you get the notifications of when I go live. Now, I really am liking this. I'm going to come up here and go a little bit more. I really am liking it. And we still have our colors in the background behind the copper. Behind the coppery color. Okay, that's all I'm going to do to that. And now I'm going to wipe all this up over here. And then we're going to heat gun it again. Oh, sorry about the squeaking. Now, see, I want to spray it with water just to see if we get little dots and kind of things. Let's go for it. I don't think it's going to do anything because I'm just going to dab it. Yeah. I don't think it did anything to it. Alcohol might, but I don't want to put alcohol on here. Hi, Teresa. How are you? Thank you for coming. Okay, so now I'm going to hit it with the heat gun, and we're going to see what we have. I think that is gorgeous paper. So it's going to take just a moment while we dry it with the heat gun. Okay. I think it's pretty. And see, it's very flexible, you guys. It's bendable. It's not cracking. And it feels awesome. Now, I can show you another one I made after Patricia reminded me of this technique. Let's see. We got stuff stuck to papers. It's not supposed to be stuck to papers. Well, we may have to trim that off. I am working on my mother a journal for Tsunami Rose's design team project. This one, what did I do to this paper? I printed it. And I printed it. No, I think I inked it, you guys. I am not sure. No, it was printed. I printed it and then I covered it with this is covered with 2 coats of polyacrylic so you can see how shiny. This side I applied the tissue paper to. And then I antiqued it. And it's got 3 little crosses on it, but they kind of blend in the background. This is for a prayer journal. And they kind of blend into the background of that. So there's different ways to use that technique. So this had a picture on it, and I did all that to it, and the picture's still there. It's just like way in the background now. And there will be videos on the prayer journal. And Mom, if you're still here or if you're watching, you didn't see that. She's going to probably watch the videos when I come up. Oh, Louise, I'm sorry. Oh, goodness. So this paper we inked it, let it dry. I have another crumpled up one. Crumpled up backs of the napkins where we took the napkins apart. I used 1 layer and I put glue and then I pressed this all down on here after we colored it and kept the texture. You just want to glue it down and kind of press it in place, and that's what gave us the texture. After it was dry, I went over it with copper paint that was way watered down just to pull up the texture. And this is what it now looks like. We still have the color in the background, and we have a nice metallic-y kind of finish to it now. It's very flexible and movable. You've been buffering too? I think it's YouTube, you guys. I'm not buffering on my phone where I'm watching the chat. And it's on Verizon. So we did this one. We made this bird belly band out of a napkin, and it's got the polyacrylic on it. That's why it's got a little bit of a shine to it. And it's very flexible, not cracking or anything. We made this to be turned into pockets on a page in a journal. So maybe cut it and make it into 2 pockets. And I need to trim a little bit. We made this page, which now has blue stuck at the bottom of it, unless I can get that off. Oh, wait, I can get it off because we polyacryliced it. I'm going to try to get it off. I don't want the blue on there because I was going to put this in a journal. Well, that little tiny bit of blue, we can cover it with a pocket. We can just put a pocket right here. So we have this page that we can use in a journal. Let's trim it off. It'll fold in half. It's fine. It's sealed. It's not going to crack. It's not going to do anything that we don't want it to do because we sealed it. So we made this. And see, we can fold, let's see, we can fold this to go in a journal just like this. And that page is not going to crack. If you wanted it, this would make a great center page. So we could fold it the other way. If you wanted to make it like that. Again, it's not going to crack or anything. And it's a real pretty page that could go into a journal. we made this sheet of cardstock. It was gray. We put this napkin over it with glue stick. I do have to trim that top edge back there because I didn't get my napkin on straight, but it's 12 by 12. So I'm still going to have plenty to put in a journal because this is an 8.5 by 11. So I would have plenty to put in a journal, plenty to make pockets with back up there, a narrow piece to maybe make a belly band or use as a border piece. I could use it because it's on cardstock to make tags, and they would be able to be journaled on the back. So we made this as well. We had another all over print of the purple. We made this purple from a napkin, all over print again, 12 by 12 cardstock. Hi, Lisa. Thank you for coming. How are you today? Hi, Mary. Thank you for coming. How are you? So we made this 12 by 12 piece of cardstock. Again, using this as an example, it will go in a journal with plenty, with a four. It should have, a good size border left over. You could make pockets or tucks out of. You could use this to make washi tape by backing the back of it. You could use it as a small belly band on a page. So the overall patterned napkins are gorgeous. So we have that. Then we took one of the frames, or this is still buckling. I'm going to have to put something on it. Something heavy. We'll set a book on it or something. We took one of the frames from a bird napkin. Oh, we have a doily to show too. So from this bird napkin, I cut one of the rectangles off. Well, I actually cut two off because I made this one earlier. So I cut one of the rectangles, glued it down to plastic. When it dried, flipped it over, glued it again. And this is the result. I have a dictionary page that's coffee dyed. One moment. So, and as a flip, because it's pretty on both sides. I do need to clean up my paper when it completely dries. And has everything attached. Definitely, silent observers are totally welcome. So that's what we made from that napkin. The one we made today is over here drying. It's been flipped over. This is the second side, waiting on it to dry, and I'm going to make another one of those from that. And then we took, oops. Hang on, guys. I'm about to have a tumble. Because I found something else we were supposed to make. I have stuff drying everywhere. Plastic that doesn't want to stay still. We took this napkin and we cut this square off. I tore it out and we placed it after we colored our doily to make it antique looking. We put this one. Oh, sorry, Robin. We have done a lot today. We put this napkin on here, and I just found this doily we were supposed to do and put one of these on it. And I have done that before. Used this napkin on a doily. Thank you, Mary. So that's what we did today. And who knew that just think about all the things you can do with napkins, you guys. They're very versatile. We could even take something like this nest, just the nest, and ooh, let's try that. We have a few minutes. Let's play for a little bit more, shall we? I'm going to just cut this rectangle off real fast. And we're just going to do this with glue stick. And should we color the doily or leave? Let's leave it white. We'll just leave it white. Let me peel my napkin. And I didn't get both layers at once. Nope. We're going to need to use tape. The tape method again. or not. Did I get it separated? I did. Yay. Okay. And for this, I just want to put the bird nest right in the middle of this doily. So I'm going to pretty much cut or tear. Let's tear. I'm going to tear everything away. This napkin is gorgeous. And I think Brenda got it at Tuesday mornings. All right, let's take that off. Tear up a little bit more from here. Okay, we got to take off a little bitty bit more. I heard somebody refer to this as fussy tearing instead of fussy cutting. We are fussy tearing, which I thought was funny. And let's probably take off this little sticky outy piece. And I think a little bit more up here. I think we got it. So now let's just get a glue stick and glue the whole middle of the doily. Put our little bird's nest on here. And I'm going to take the makeup brush and brush that out. This is a blush brush from Dollar Tree. And that's our garbage running when it's stuck to my book paper. I love that, you guys. That in like a bird book or just a page, and then you could have birds on the page. This could go on a pocket. It could make a tuck spot if you applied it to card. There's so many different things to do with this. This is gorgeous. And it goes with this. So see, one napkin, we could put this in a journal. We could put this in the same journal. We could then make tuck spots, pockets, half pages, all from the same napkin, because that napkin had 6 rectangles, and do, 6 different things in a journal and kind of pull it all together and make your own ephemera to go in a journal like that. I love those together. They really are pretty together. Thank you, Mary and Robin and Kelly and Patricia. Thank you all. So that's really all we have today. We were just going to do napkins, and we found a lot to do with napkins and different ways to tear them out and use them and all kind of stuff, and even how to save their backings. And there was one I wanted to show you guys. I saved what's called a ghost print from somewhere. Now I don't know where my ghost print went. Oh, here it is. I don't know if you can see it. Let's see if I can put it on something. It's actually the ghost print from that. Let's get a coffee dyed paper. Can y'all see that? It's the ghost print. So that print that was the closest to the napkin, and the napkin when it was printed. So like what this would have been on top of. And then the bottom side is just going to be all white. The ghost prints are really pretty. And that's what I put on top of the colored paper that I told you had the blue speckles. That was the ghost print as well. So the ghost prints can be really pretty. This applied to something like this kind of blends those into the background. It looks like a very faint backgroundy kind of image. I hope you see that. Okay, Angie, thank you for coming. It would look like something blended right into the background. It's just there, but it's barely there. I kind of like that. So when you're taking your napkins, when you're taking your napkins apart, check and see if they have ghost prints because those are also usable. So I'm saving the ghost print. That's what I call those. This one has a very really faint one, but it's the same thing. And that's from the piece we just used the eggs off of, or the nest. So this one still has a ghost print on it. So I'm going to save both of those ghost prints and see this one, which was the backing from that piece that we pulled the eggs from, has no ghost print. So that third layer, no print. Well, that's it, guys. We stayed on a little longer than normal, but I think we got a lot done today. Tomorrow, let's see, tomorrow is going to be all about opportunities, what opportunities there are, what we can look at as opportunities, and that kind of thing. It's something I wish somebody had talked about a lot when I first started out a year ago, so I could have understood what opportunities there are available to help grow your channel and that kind of thing. So that's what we're going to be talking about tomorrow, opportunities. And keep looking for my other like design team projects to go up. The Tsunami Rose, I'm going to start working on it soon. Online, doing recordeds. I just started the Melody Maze. It's going to go up later this afternoon. So keep looking for those in my iCAD cards. And I hope you, thank you, Patricia. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And if y'all make anything from anything that we did today, please post pictures somewhere. You need to go back to the beginning and replay. So post your pictures if you make anything. And I have to remember that I post pictures of what we did. Oh, you are so welcome, Robin. And again, thank y'all for coming. And I hope everybody has a great rest of your day. Thanks, everybody. Bye.